Peace. What's going on? It's Conscious once again, live from St. Paul, Minnesota right now, and we're at Braza. It's a dope spot, suggested by our special guest today. Now we're in the what was it, Minnesota nice state. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, this guy's like one of the nicest MCs and just people in general. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of talking and stuff. And so welcome everybody. We got MaLLy in the building right now. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta hit all my ankles. What's going on, yo?
What's going on, yo? How's everything going, man? I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, taking the time out.
Things are going well, just chilling. We got nice rain clouds, and it's dark out. It's starting to get a little dark outside. Hopefully it doesn't turn green, but I'm good, man. Just chilling. It's my first time getting a chance to see y'all or catch up with y'all in person in my hometown. And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And actually got a show, kind of a show with each other coming up soon too, which is cool.
Tonight.
It's pretty cool.
Tonight, so it's been cool. I just been chilling. Soundset weekend was really good. I know that's why you know, E was in town and then you came in afterwards. But it's been cool. Like, it's been a nice weekend, real chill. I didn't get a chance to make it out to the festival myself, but I went to the after party, and that was really dope. They had Brother Ali, Sarah, myself, did MaLLy. MadLib came and played some joints.
Nice.
Did some shit, so that was cool. And it was nice, good energy, good crowd. It was just a good time, man. Like, it's been a nice vibe. And then just working on new music at the moment, you know, and currently pushing current music that's out right now. So
Nice.
it's been dope.
So you're born and raised in St. Paul?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, Minneapolis is up. Okay,
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
So now, okay, so talk about what was your first like run-in with hip hop in Minneapolis? You remember, like, was it like beating on the table in lunchroom? Like, you remember that early?
Yeah, I would have to say my first experience that I had that still holds near and dear to me would have to be when I was 14 and I was watching HBO at my grandma's house, and it was Blaze Battle.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
And that was the one Ideal was in, and I'm trying to remember. He went up against
Something for like the Outsiders or something, or
I can't remember.
Or was it Wu-Tang? I remember, wasn't Capadonna in there? Like RZA was all
I
hype.
think they were curating. I don't know if they rapped in it, but I
Who
could have
did he
sworn they curating. But Ideal was against Shells.
Shells, yeah.
Okay.
Against he went up against this cat named C4. Then there was another dude named
I remember RK.
yeah, RK was in there.
He was from like Miami. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there were a bunch of dudes in there. But then there was another dude, Ali Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't hear. He was dope. He's dope too when he was on tracks. Like
Yeah.
when he made his music was dope, like really dope at the time. I don't know what he's doing now, but Ali Vegas, Shells, RK. There was a lot of dudes in that whole mix. But that was my first interaction with somebody from Minnesota that I knew rap. There was another dude named Chaos that was from the north side of Minneapolis. That was dope back in like the mid to late 90s. But Ideal as far as battling and like just demolishing everybody, like no writtens, no, like everything was just like off the top of his head, to me was like super impressive. And that was like, yo, this dude's dope. And then like shortly after that, I think Freestyle Friday came out with like BET, and then battling kind of like had this like this, it was like I want to say it became like a trend almost for a small part of time, like the freestyle battle thing, like when they had Scribble Jam, when that was around. And then in high school I started trying to take on battling. Didn't really like try to freestyle, but just started getting into writing rhymes at the time. So like 15 years ago is when I started trying to write. But then it evolved, but I didn't consider myself to really be a rapper at the time. Like, I didn't really say anything to anybody because I was like, I know I'm not good enough to be telling people. Because, you know, like, we'd be like, yo, man, I'm rapping.
That's
and
me.
then you suck.
Like low-key, you'll tell like one person.
Because you're like, hey, I rap.
Yeah.
All right, spit right
is this
now.
okay?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wasn't good, man. I was just like, I'm gonna hold on to this for a while. I'm gonna wait. But
That's
me and
how
my
it
best
is.
friend at the time, like, we're kind of messing around and joking with it, but like, and we were 16 and we made like a diss song, and the diss song was called Fuck Danny, and it was about this dude that like like kind of, I guess, like to me, stole this girl that I really liked at the time. So we like made
Like
a
a
diss
battle
song,
diss song.
yeah, against a dude who didn't even rap. But it was over Nas's Ether beat too, so it was like it was
Yes.
perfect. It was perfect. It was like an 02. It was like a year or two after that song dropped. And I remember I'm not gonna say anything from it. I remember it, but that was like my first inkling. Like, yo, like I think I can actually like flow a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was like 16 when that happened, and then but I just constantly like tried to like stay like writing like on the low. Like all my stuff was on the low. Like I never really let anybody know that I was writing or rhyming. And then, yeah, so that was like my first interaction.
What was the rap name? Did you ever?
Dude, like they all suck. Like I think one of them was, I stole this name from a character out of the movie Above the Rim. It was Motar.
That's hilarious.
It was Wood Harris. His name was Motar in
That's
Above
fun,
the Rim.
yeah.
So I like took that name on for like maybe a week or like maybe like a few months. Didn't really like that name because the name was just like bad. I don't know where that name even comes from. Then it was Sonny Riss. I don't know why it was like Sonny like
Riss?
yeah.
Oh, your wrist was shining.
No, it was just the word Sonny, like the name Sonny, like Sonny.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why I picked Riss.
Yes.
And then one of them, I was trying to like put a word, and I think it was because I was so like used to like seeing how battlers at the time would like have like a word or a name, but it would be spelled completely different, like Eminem, Idea, Pumpkinhead, like just weird,
Random
like, just
names, yeah.
random ass names. So then the next one was like, I was trying to figure out, maybe I can call myself Cause Trouble. But then I was like, let me make it
Spell
one
it.
word. So I was like COSTR, OUBBLE, like something bad. It was bad. And then what was the second to last one? And then I was like, oh, Malice, that would be cool. Then the clips came out. So then I was like, I can't take this name. And then me and my friend were freestyling at the time. I don't know where it came, but he just like called me MaLLy, and I was like, yo, it works. And then like I just stuck with like, and then it was MaLLy. Then it went to MaLLy from the 612, and then I was like, that's too long of a name and very like containing into like a region.
Yeah.
So I chopped off from the 612 later, and then yeah, that's the evolution of all of the names that I've had. They've all sucked, but like MaLLy just like works. It rolls off the tongue easy, real nice. It's an M, so it works with my government name, MaLLy, so it works.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's dope. So now you said you first started writing and kind of keeping it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start, showing other people and start performing?
2007, so like 7 years later.
What was it that?
I think that's when I finally like, my mom like stumbled upon something that I had like wrote and like recorded on this like shitty mic that we had on a computer. It wasn't even a real recording program. It was like you play the music and hit record, and it basically would be like background music.
Yeah.
And I would just record vocals over there.
okay.
So I wasn't even using any programs. It was like mad like suspect. It was just like the most bootleg.
I mean, everybody has to start from somewhere.
Everybody's done that, I think.
That was my joint. So, and that was how like I would record stuff, memorize it, have verses in my head. So I was like, yo, this is what's up. And she stumbled onto like one of my like a few of the joints and was like, you're really good. Like, why don't you like try to, do something with this or put it out or whatever. And then like that was like the fire where I was like, I went to one of my guys at the time who I went to school with, who's now in LA. His name's Redwine. He's a producer out in LA. He's really dope.
From here?
Yeah, he's from Dallas, but he went to school at St. Thomas with me in St. Paul. And we just linked up, and he basically let me like record over a bunch of like beats from Donuts, a bunch of Knife Wonder joints, a little bit, some of the more obscure stuff that like a lot of people weren't
know about.
Like,
didn't know too much
Alias,
about.
like Anycon.
Yeah, and then like what were some of the other
obscure.
ones? Let me see, like I don't even know some of the names to them. I'd have to go and look at some of these beat tapes that I like downloaded, but we found those joints. And we basically just like, and I had a bunch of, some stuff was already recorded, but I just needed to re-record it. And we recorded it in like 3 sessions, and it was like 26 joints.
Oh, damn.
And some of them were like a minute and a half, some were 2 minutes, but I went in and just knocked them all out. And that was like my first encounter with recording too.
Did you ever rap over Alchemist beats back then?
I think there was maybe one. Maybe
that was
two.
my thing back in the day.
Yeah, he had a lot of shit that was cool to rap over and do quote unquote what they call freestyles now.
Yeah. Kicks
So
and
that,
verses.
yeah, so that was kind of my joint at the time. That was my first inkling of like recording and like telling people. And then I put it out on MySpace, and then people, and nobody still didn't know. And then when I put it on MySpace, people were like, yo, dude, like, I didn't know you rap. Like, that's crazy. Like,
That's crazy when it's people you see physically. They don't hear about you rapping until it's through the internet.
Yeah.
Which is random. You know what I'm saying? Which I think it's just gotten even worse.
so
now.
it's kind of a surprise. And then that was in 07, of May of 07. So 8 years ago, I put it's called The Letter. Very rough around the edges, way more like profanity and like certain terms that I would never like.
Lord.
You know
You
what I
gotta
mean?
hear
Like,
that.
like fuck and motherfucker, and just like too much of it. Like it was just excessive.
Well, you said you kind of grew up on like battle rapping and seeing that, so that's real aggressive.
Yeah, and then also some of the other artists that I just listen to in general, as far as like the music that I listen to, like the Locks and
Oh yeah.
you know, a lot of the East Coast shit that like I still hold near and dear to my heart. Like when I go back and listen to it, the Locks, obviously like Biggie, Pac, and Jay and Nas. I mean, we could list off like a lot of similar alikes.
So what was about the East Coast? When we talked to Greg, he was saying like a lot of people were on the West Coast, you know, vibe. What was it about East Coast where you were like,
I think it was because it was, to me, it was something about, and I didn't get into the East Coast really all that tough until I started getting into writing myself. I think that's what it was. But when I was growing up, the Midwest and the West Coast, and even like some down south like UGK, 8 Ball and MJG,
Yeah.
Tila,
Scarface.
Scarface. I mean, like you could name a bunch of cats. Ghetto Boys. Like it's just a lot of cats that like were really dope as far as listening to music. So I would definitely say like as far as being a fan of listening to it, that's definitely been my palette. But listening to it growing up when I was younger, it was like, man, the East Coast was like really dark, and like the stories they told were like really intricate and just
You're
about
good
like,
writers too. Just
Yeah.
like Nas was real poetic and
yeah, definitely. So, but then when I got into writing myself, and then like Twista, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and
Bone Thugs.
man, like that was like my thing growing up. You know
That
what I mean?
was
So
like-
Biggie was kind of like an afterthought. When I started getting into writing and rapping myself, I started studying like how people rap or their flows, and then you start doing more homework, and like you hear a Big Daddy Kane album, and you're like, yo man, everybody's stealing from him.
Yeah.
Everybody's
He's
stealing
ahead
from
of his
Rakim.
freaking time.
And everybody's stealing from G-Rap. Like, man, like these dudes, like it's just like it's like
Yeah.
recycled almost. I'm like, damn, like these dudes are dope, but these other dudes originated this in the 80s and the 90s, like which is crazy. So I would say my pot's like all over the place, you know what I mean? But when it came to me making songs and getting into writing, like the East Coast was definitely like the patterns and the delivery and the flow and trying to like the storytelling and all of that. Like that's where I definitely got that inspiration from or influence from.
now tell me about the Sundance Kid. Like, I think that's the first time
I can't find him. Where is he at? Literally, he's one of those like mysterious dudes that you don't see much. But yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh no, just but how first get up. I mean, like just random.
Yeah, it's interesting. We linked with each other through a mutual friend who used to be in a group called the Tribe and Big Cats.
Okay.
And they're from here. They're from the Twin Cities. Chris, truth be told, at the time, or Chris was born in. He was born in Chicago, but raised in Minnesota.
Thank
You
You're
thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Like,
You're
am
good.
I here?
Eddie, get in the
Thank
picture. So he's born in Chicago, raised in the Twin Cities, and then he went to school with 2 other cats, one that made beats, and then they ended up like making music. And then in 2010, me and this cat Chris got cool because we were gonna work on some music together. But he was like, "Yo, you should check this dude. He goes by the name of Sundance Kid. His name's John. You should check some of his work out." So I went over to dude's crib and he played me like 2 or 3 joints, and they were crazy. I'm like, yo, this sounds way different than what anybody's rapping over.
Yeah.
The vibe, the transition, the sequencing is like way different. It's more. It just felt like he was pulling from so many different elements of all different types of music, but the way he brought it together, it was like, but it's still rap. Like it was just crazy. So the first joint we did together was called Lights Off, and that came out like 5 years ago, like September of 2010. we put that out, man, like, and I was already kind of doing my thing, but like for some reason, like that particular sound and song just got people like, yo, this is like way different than what I've heard you spit over, and it brought something out of you than you've done in the past. You know what I mean? And I was starting to get better at recording. I think better at writing at that particular time. So then we said, let's do another one. You know what I'm saying? So then we started working on another joint. Like we did like seven or eight songs put together, and it was a series that we called Free on the 15th, and we basically would drop every song that we dropped was on the 15th of the month.
Oh, that's dope.
So September 15th, October 15th, November 15th, and we did that 7-8 times. And then our last song we did for that series with Tehran. He's out of the West Coast.
Tehran,
he's
dope.
Yeah. He's with AMRI now, but we did a collaboration with him.
So how'd you link up? Because through the internet, or how did you link up with somebody in California?
We just sent it to his email. Had the joint kind of like already recorded, and was like, we just want you to do the second verse. And he was like, cool, I'm down with it. We got in touch with his manager, Mario Rangel. Back and forth, made that connection, sent the verse. I was like, okay, perfect. And then we actually ended up meeting up with them cats at South by in 2011 that year, just to catch up, kick it, talk or whatever. And all real cool dudes, like real nice dudes. You know, I think he's still working, putting music out. I know it's kind of got quiet for him. He's still
I played him on the show before, and then it just kind of like, it was kind of weird how to say his name, like Tehran, like Tyron, something.
Yep.
But it was dope.
Yeah.
Him and MaLLy.
Yeah, very dope MCs, man. So we linked up with them, and then after that, people were like, "Yo, when y'all gonna put a full album out?" So when people started asking for it, that's when, you know, when the demand came. That's when we just said, "Well, might as well like put a project out, see what's going on." Then we just started working on the album. Then that's how we started figuring out, okay, what direction do we want to go sonically, and that's the sound on that album is just like nobody. I don't think anybody that I know that raps has like sonically. It's even like how I'm rapping. Like it's just like a weird like mix, because most people would try to just like make like party rap, but I try to like keep it still like to the essence of like lyrics and like having like good songwriting.
Definitely.
And not like losing myself in the sauce, like, because you know some people just kind of get lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
like,
you're
good.
good. You're good. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There's 3 combos on here. 2 for you. Thank you. Sandwich for you.
Thank you very much.
You ended up getting 2, right?
Thank you. I got 1.
Oh, 1.
Yep. Thank
Did
you
I
so
get
much.
2? Am I
You
greedy?
got 2.
You got
Greedy?
Am I greedy?
Thank you.
Go for your eggs.
Do you have a hot sauce?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, that's how we linked up, and that's how the album came about. And then after that, we ended up. But during this time, the profile for myself was continuing to raise, and even for itself, like I think that's still the first couple of records or projects that he's done are only really with me. So, and people are still asking, like, you guys should do another project together. He's currently working on an EP, and I'm currently just working on a bunch of different work with different people. So it's been, we've both been moving and keeping it pushing as far as like what we got going on, which is nice. So
as long as you're still doing stuff. I mean, if the time is right again, you guys will connect. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Kind of like with Outkast. I'm like, when they want to get back together, it's gonna be amazing. So I'm down to
It's
wait.
all up to Andre at this point.
Pretty much.
If he wants to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of.
Yeah.
But and I mean, sometimes certain situations, like when they run the course, like you have to like accept that sometimes.
Yeah, respect it. Yeah.
And just respect it. So I'm kind of at that point too with our relationship. Like, if I want it to be organic, I don't want to force anything.
Exactly.
And I know he doesn't want to force anything either. Like, yo, if it sounds good and it works, then like, yeah, we'll definitely make that happen, which I'm all for. And that's always been my kind of thing too. Like the way we came together was organic. Like it was just like random. It happened instead of like forcing the issue of we got to make a classic, or we got to get on the front of this magazine, or we got, you know what I mean? It's more so just like, let's just make the music good first.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then go from and then start planning what it is we want to do.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, during that time, the profile for both of us was going up through the roof locally, and even getting some national attention too. And then during that time, was doing like a couple songs with Atmosphere. Went on tour with them for a week. Did the Welcome to Minnesota tour.
Yeah, because I think that's why.
Oh,
Well, because he came to Orlando, but that was with Brother Ali. Though.
Yeah, that was Brother Ali.
I remember the track "Welcome to Minnesota," and I think I played it on the show because you. Was it Brother Ali is on that track too? I think, right?
Big Quarters.
Okay, yeah.
And Alexi from Kill the Vultures. And then Slug. But every time they would do the tour, they would basically like do a Welcome to Minnesota type song.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And the one we did was called Somebody Minnesota.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a cool way, like the cover art like has all the different like places we were hitting, but then the last place was like a city, like somebody, Minnesota. So so that's the way we kind of it was kind of slick how they laid out the artwork for it. So that was that. And then just constantly working on new music, and then The Colors of Black's the most recent project I have out, and that's with my DJ that I work with, Last Word, who's a part of the DJ group, Get Crifey. They're locally based.
Okay, so that's a DJ group. I was like I was thinking that was like Prof's group. So Prof DJs?
No, he doesn't. He's an MC.
So he's like the MC for that.
You guys good?
Nope.
No? Okay, so Get Crifey is just the DJ.
A separate entity. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've been seeing Get
Prof's a solo
Crifey
artist.
on a
And so
bunch
your
of stuff.
DJ is a part of Get Crifey.
Yep.
And his name is Last Word.
Last Word. Yep.
Okay, word. See, now I get it. It's all coming full circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that group consists of Last Word, Plain Old Bill, DJ
Somebody mentioned
Fundo,
Plain Old
and
Bill
Jimmy
earlier.
2 Times.
Okay, and DJ Fungo, he was on tour, I think, with
Prof.
Prof. And when he went to Orlando.
Yep.
Word up, yeah. So talk about the scene, because it seems like everybody kind of knows everybody. I mean, is that like how it is, or?
And by knowing everybody, do you mean like everybody knows like, oh, I know this person? But as far as like it's a very diverse, to some degree, it's a very diverse scene. Like when you, in the grand scheme of things, like people from all walks, shapes, and sizes make music.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes the media, like the outlets we have here, sometimes their portrayal of the scene is very homogenous.
Okay.
Like they may only, they might sometimes, and sometimes I think what they're always looking for is a story, right? Like they're kind of looking for an angle to tell a story.
Yeah.
So it's like, they just don't want to like highlight you and say, oh, such and such has this album coming out. It's like, they want to have something big going into it so it gets some more viewership. Or sometimes they got to hear somebody else say that it's good in order for them to want to fuck with it, right? Like they got to be like, oh, like for me, I feel like Soundset 2011. Okay, so I performed at Soundset in 2011, and then I hosted both the festival and the after party in 2012. So 2011, Slug wore my shirt, like a shirt that I was selling for merch on stage.
Oh, shit.
And before that, not to say that there's anything wrong with that, like I've always been working, been busy, and then like there was a lot of buzz going into it.
Yeah.
But then that year, he wore my T-shirt on stage, and then it was like, oh,
Who's MaLLy?
everybody, who's MaLLy? Like we got to get in touch with him. It's like, dude, I've been sending you shit for how long? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to like get on y'all's radar, and all of a sudden, like it's important or it means something. So.
Oh, what up, girl? How are you?
I
I
thought
told
I
you she's
saw you. I
famous.
was like, hey, how are you?
Good to see
So we're out in
you.
So,
Minnesota?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it
Look,
is,
it's
man.
meant for you.
I know.
He's your friend?
How you doing?
We're interviewing MaLLy actually.
Oh, hey.
How you doing?
Are you going tonight? What time is it?
Doors at 7, I think. We go on at 9.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. I'm going to check it
But
out, okay?
All right.
it's just
All
kind
right,
of
you.
interesting,
Good luck. Bye.
just interesting how it works.
Yeah.
How some people they need something to go off of to make it seem like, oh, this is important, or this person is good, or this person has a cosign. Like a lot of people sometimes won't get looks unless they get a cosign.
Yeah,
A
yeah, yeah.
cosign
You
or
were just
somebody-
talking about that.
or somebody says it's important, which to me is, I get it, but it's whack.
Yeah.
I mean, if the music is good and the person's nice, like
People like to follow though what people give them because they're so
it's sheep.
busy,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's why.
I think people are sheep too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like
That too.
that's part of it. Like people are busy, but people are sheep too, because like nobody wants to be the dude where say if like they have a good record or a good song, and then or say if like after that maybe what they put out next isn't as good, or they sleep on it, and then finally they're like, oh man, like I like when some people can admit like they slept on a certain artist, or they can be like, man, I didn't pay attention to it, but you know what I mean. But versus, I've been a fan of you for years. Okay, but you don't return my emails or my phone calls, or I can't tell.
That's whack.
Stuff like that. That's just an example. So, so we kind of went through that, and then after that, it was like trying to figure out what was going to be next for me and what was the sound. And for me, I had my main goal was to get better at songwriting, to get better on stage as a performer, and really like figuring out how to sell myself on stage and off stage on record. Because a lot of times, you like having the talent is dope. Like I think that's amazing when people have it, but then figuring out how to like hone that and really like
present that so other people will, you know.
Yeah, because we can all get on stage and rap good, but it's like, but if you can't like perform, or like the energy doesn't connect with people, I mean, that's a lot of ours. Hopefully, God willing, that's going to be all of our livelihoods one day, is that we're on stage and we're doing this full time, and that's what we do. But if you can't connect with people or get people to like buy your CDs, or, you know, pass it around to people, or talk about you, or your profile's not going up, like the things that'll keep you like, and this is beyond, and this is like all the business stuff I'm talking about now, because like this is beyond the talent, right? Like, but even those things are talents within themselves that have to constantly be sharpened and be honed in on. It's not just, I rap good. It's like, no, like, but can you perform? Can you talk to people off stage? Like how?
And you gotta have some type of, you can't be like monotonous with it either. Like you gotta have some, like you said, when you were working with Homeboy, like it brought something out of you. Like being able to do different things and work with different people and have different things that people keep it fresh.
Yeah, definitely. So, so that's kind of been a thing. And then the next album was just trying to figure out how I want to elevate the songwriting and just be a better and more concise, less filler. Tell my stories even better than I used to tell them. And tell a story that I haven't told about myself before. You know what I mean? Like continuing to
talk about new experiences and things you're doing.
Yep. So it's constantly like, my brain is like always like on the treadmill as far as like trying to figure out, you know, we're always working like how to figure out like what's the next thing, or like how to go about
that's dope.
Writing this song.
Yeah, because you're trying to hone your craft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just trying to master it.
Definitely. So that's currently what's been going on. So Colors of Black came out April 2014, and then that did good. We did a couple videos off of that. Sounds really great sonically. I'm proud of that project. But now I'm in this mode of definitely want to getting back to like having fun, and just kind of like, you know, continuing to be myself, but like get back to the basics of like having fun and making songs that like people, now that they know me, can like connect with and relate to. I don't know, like just good energy, good vibes, and like really like tapping into that side of myself again. You know what I mean? Like talking about things that really matter, but presenting it so it's like it's not contrived.
Yeah, not like preaching at them. And like, oh yeah, do this, that. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Definitely. So. And then did the tour with Ali. We connected for a minute. I don't remember sending you radio edits, but
well, I think I get radio promoters sending me stuff all the time. Yeah. And either that, or I probably like cleaned up a few joints and just played it. And I was like, this is dope. If it's something I really like, I'll clean it up. Most people I'm like, nah, you gotta send me a clean joint. I'm not going to. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. So the tour with Ali, the Home Away from Home tour was dope.
Yeah.
That was real crazy. Like.
Yeah, so tell me about the touring. Like
the tour was amazing, man. It was. I didn't necessarily know what to expect. The first thing I told myself when we got in the van and we're driving on the freeway, I was like, man, this is gonna be a test to see if I really want to do this. You know what I mean? Like, do I really love this? To be gone for like 2 months or 9 weeks at a time with the same people, doing the same songs.
Cramps.
Yeah, like. And it's like it's an exercise, man. Like, and for me, it was like I just got thrown into it. Like, kind of like, even though I've been doing stuff before it, but like touring was like my first like real like
all like not being able to kind of just get back. Like,
I was just
on the road for a while. Yeah.
And it was an amazing experience. Like I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about other people. Areas for improvement, both as a performer. I learned. came back motivated, but then also just started thinking even bigger than just here. And I think, like when you talk about the scene, like I'll be very earnest and frank when I say this, is that I think a lot of times people, when they only see what's in front of them, they tend to get this thing of like this object of permanence where it's like, this is all I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like when you focus on just where you're from, so then when somebody else gets, you feel like it's like invading your space, and you've been in this space for like, let's say 10 years or 15 years, and then somebody younger or newer comes along, and you're like, oh man, like they're taking my shine. And like,
Right.
but which isn't the case. It's like, it's possible that like, like, you know what I mean? Like they could be like hitting different angles and doing something different. And I think it just made me understand that like, you could be quote unquote old here because people know you and like they're used to your work, like, and they probably still respect the work, come to the shows, so on and so forth. But there's a whole world out there.
Yep.
You know what I'm
have
saying?
no clue who you are.
Yeah, and I felt new. Like I felt new again, like every night. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
dope.
I felt new every night, and like the shows were good. It was fun. It was dope. And got a chance to connect with like a lot of good people, and just want to do it again, whether it's on a smaller scale or a large scale like that again. I feel like I'm mentally and emotionally like ready for it again. Like I feel I've got like my mind is much sharper, and the sword is much sharper than it was.
So good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate it.
So it was an amazing experience, man. Like Seattle was dope, Orlando was dope, Atlanta was amazing, Philly was a good time. Pretty much the whole West Coast was a good time.
And it's gotta feel good that the stuff that you were working on in Minneapolis, like, transcended the borders. Like, people just 22 hours away, you know what I'm saying, by driving, felt it also. You know what I'm saying? So that must have been dope.
Yeah, man. It was just, that was my biggest thing, is just being able to connect with people, sell some merch, and just pretty much everything. Make a connection, grow as a person, which it did. Like, I think MaLLy and I were actually talking 2 days ago, and he was just saying, I think everybody grew from that experience. Through the challenges, to the accomplishments and the successes, we all learned something.
Yeah. That's dope.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap this up, you know what I'm saying, because we got to jump into this here.
Oh yeah.
Shouts to Braza, La
Yeah.
Brasa.
The premium rotisserie.
Premium rotisserie.
Premium.
They've got one in Minneapolis, but they don't have a deep fryer, so they don't got the catfish sandwich at that one.
So we had to come here.
Yeah, so we came to the St. Paul one. But yeah, Twin Cities, man, it's a beautiful place. But yeah, but as I said on the scene is amazing because we've got, if your music is mastered and it's done properly, we've got channels where they'll play your music.
That's dope.
It's tough. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not, you just don't get the key to the city and everybody's just opening the door for you. But we do have outlets. We've got newspapers. We've got radio. We've got magazines. We've got a label presence here. The industry isn't, like it probably is huge as it is maybe in like a New York or a California or a West Coast or an East Coast, but I could see it turning into that because Chicago's making a lot of noise as of late. I feel like the Midwest has always been, I think not Midwest, but Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I think we also are starting to have people branch out and make some strides too, like Lizzo,
Yeah, shout out to Lizzo.
Atmosphere, Brother Ali, Alan Kingdom, you know what I mean, Dim Atlas. Like, we've got people who are in this city, in this town, starting to become touring artists, having bigger profiles. In due time. So it's just all about right time, right place, and somebody that believes in you, as well as yourself, and that stuff will come together, man. So like, yeah, I think tour would definitely help me understand, like, I love my home, but I also understand that, like, you don't want to just keep yourself here. Like, you always have to think outside of the box.
Yeah, because I think you're almost giving yourself a disservice to the scene if all you do is just you're here all the time. You're not bringing anything new back. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, you went out there, like,
bringing,
this is
or
this.
putting on for your city in other places.
Yeah,
It's like,
like,
you gotta represent.
Definitely. So it's been good, man. I can't complain.
all right, dope. So what's next while we wrap this up?
I'm currently working on new music with Last Word. Working on some new material with Half Dozen.
All right, half dozen.
Working on with this cat named Midas. One of my first projects I did called The Passion with him in '09. We're working on new music again.
Wait, dude named Midas.
Midas, yeah, he's from Miami. He's a Latino cat.
Oh,
Oh.
totally different then. Okay, because
Yeah, yeah.
we know a Midas in Orlando, Midas the
Okay.
Beast.
Well,
Okay.
he's a big name kind of in Orlando too, because he's
Does
done
the
what work with
Alchemist
Alchemist and
Okay.
what's the cat's name?
Huh?
Rock Marciano
Oh,
and
Marciano,
Prince
Greta
Paul
Nine.
and
Dope.
yeah.
Bunch of people.
Dope.
That's crazy. There's another Midas.
Yeah, MYDUS.
Okay, it's spelled
yeah,
different.
totally.
Goldmine Music LLC. That's his name.
Own My Music?
Goldmine.
Oh, Goldmine. I was like, that'd be kind of dope. Own My Music. That'd be kind of dope. All right.
And then working with another cat named PC. He's out of the Twin Cities. Crazy producer. Both with the samples and sample free. Great synth, great keywork, great drums.
Nice.
So we working on some new work, and just staying busy, man. Just trying to get back in my bag, man, as they say. So and I'm focused,
That's dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta stay focused on
man.
and get it
Yeah.
done, and then focus on getting it out to people.
Definitely.
I mean, so, all right, cool. Well, thank you very much. I don't want to reach over the food, but you're looking out. You know what I'm saying?
Air fist pound.
And yeah, so websites and things of that nature. What's
Yo, follow me on Twitter at MaLLy, MaLLy. Follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/MaLLy MPLS. Follow me on Tinder,
Oh my God.
Christian Mingle, Black
No.
People Meet, Black Planet.
wow, Black Planet,
I
Asian
might get my
Avenue.
MySpace popping. And then shout out to Joel Osteen.
What's significance of the capital L's in MaLLy?
Branding.
Word, nice, damn, okay.
So it just stands out. So it's like, oh snap, I know who you're talking about.
Right.
So that's why I'm really like passionate when people like put my name on a flyer.
Like you better capitalize the L.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm gonna come send the goons after you. You know what I mean?
To capitalize those L's.
Right. But that
You're catching L.
it just stands out. So when people see it, they're like, oh, okay. So hopefully it sticks in people's mind because a lot of people ask me that question,
Yeah, yeah.
and then it sticks, but no significance. Not like ladies
LL
love
Cool J, yeah.
cool.
So,
Not at all.
all right, cool. All right, so thank you again, fam.
Thank you.
Yeah, just keep sending me joints, keep playing on the show.
Cool, man.
All right, let's get into this here.